Which do you do, squares or rectangles? Hello lovelies, welcome to today's midweek wrap up. It's so great that you could stop by. Well, today, you guessed it, we're talking about square looks, square scarf looks, but doing it with a much more easy to find, much more available, and a lot more fabric available rectangular scarf. I love a square scarf look. It's very old world Hollywood glam. It's very 50s. It has a certain fashion kind of statement that it can really provide. And I love the idea of really kind of jazzing up any kind of look using this kind of wrap. I've seen a lot of women also wear their hair out and then just tie a similar kind of tie just around their hair, like a kind of hairband. It really has a lot of flexibility. But the thing that doesn't necessarily always come into our path is a square scarf. So sometimes we only have rectangular scarves available, or we just really love the pattern of our rectangular scarf, or we just need the fabric that is available through a rectangular scarf, because there's just so much more length and so much more surface area in a rectangular scarf. So I have been spending the last few weeks actually having a little play around with what do I do when I want to create this kind of look or another square scarf look, but all I have is my rectangles to achieve it. So I hope this is something that interests you and you'll stick around to see what we can achieve with our square scarf looks with using rectangular scarves. Okay, I'm going to be a little bit tricky and try and show you what I do underneath the scarf. So I've got my non-slip headband, of course. It's a really nice sort of resistance band for the scarf to stick to. And I've actually tied my hair, with this type of scrunchie. So I've got it flipped over twice around my actual hair out the back that obviously you can't see. I'll start with the obvious. You can fold your rectangular scarf in half and then again over this way, creating a kind of triangle and then using that to tie down. So that's what I had on before as well. So you kind of get to this position, then you tie it off at the back. I usually do 2 knots. And then you've got this really cool thing that you can play around with and create like a little fringe with, and that's a really cute style. Like I said, it's what I had, very similar to what I had on before with my black and white scarf. Very quick and easy, and then you just got to do some tucking away because it is, after all, not your symmetrical triangle that you would get from a square scarf, but it achieves exactly the same thing. So this is exactly the same wrap I had on before, just using a different scarf. It's a lot of fun. You can also, because it is a rectangular scarf, create more volume and do things like this. So just making sure that you can't see the non-slip headband or any parts of the scarf you don't want to, and that you've still got your symmetry through the back. So this is a really obvious one that you just literally create a square out of a rectangle. Nothing mysterious about that one, but it is one of the ways to definitely create this really fun look, and I can bet that nobody would know that this was a rectangular scarf to begin with. But if we go back to our beginning position with a regular scarf starting point, and really utilize the fabric to create that same kind of appeal that you can get from a square scarf. I've got it to this point, and I'm just going to twist. I'm just going to tuck away as much as I can around the back, just like that. And with this bit, I can create sort of a loop or a kind of interest point. You can do whatever you like, but it needs to kind of finish up looking a little bit like a bow, a little bit. So once I get the sort of thing I wanted to do, I'll just tuck away the tail like that, and then I'll just use a little pin to connect this to the rest of the scarf. So there it is. Another really cool rectangular scarf going into a square scarf look, where you have this sort of bow finish at the top. Again, really old world Hollywood, very sort of socialite kind of Zsa Zsa Gabor kind of feel to it, and really pretty in a finish. If your rectangle is a lot narrower to begin with, you couldn't just fold it into a pseudo square by creating a triangle out of it. So what do you do if you're trying to create one of those type of looks using something like this? So my answer to that kind of conundrum is to just put it down as you would normally, have it fairly equal, and wrapping it through the front. You want to kind of keep it gathered around because with a square scarf you wouldn't have thick tails. So you kind of want to keep things thin through the detailing by really kind of gathering the fabric. Now take one of those tails and just tuck them away. We definitely don't really see tassels when we look at square scarves, so we definitely don't want to see those. And then take the other side of it and also kind of tuck it away on the side. And then I'm just going to adjust them until they really give me height in the middle. See that? So instead of having the normal second crisscross and then tuck away that we would do with a rectangular scarf and potentially have some tassels hanging out or a tail, this one's all about the height that it gives through the front. And it gathers, instead of being nice and flat across that way, it gathers on either side. So there's actually a little gap in there. Let's see if I can show you. There's an actual gap in there. We're running around there. But if you arrange it neatly enough, you're not going to see it. And it still creates that look. The next look is going to require a lot of height, so that's why I'm just showing you how I've tied this up. I've got the non-slip headband again, and then this is just covering my hair, so I can show you how I've tied it. I've got another narrow scarf that what I'm going to do is actually split it through the middle and create a kind of triangle with it this way. So this is the start position with this scarf. So I've actually kind of got two legs on the other side, but they're folded over through the middle. Okay, I'm going to just tie it off, still having that twist through there and through there. You can kind of see how the whole pattern is going on an angle. And we're just going to wrap up with a twist. And then tying it off at the end, really kind of isolating that bun. You can let tails hang if you really want to, but then it becomes quite obvious as to how this whole look was achieved. So instead, I think we're going to just tuck away as much as we can. With this one, you get a really nice loose fit through the front. All your tightness sits around your shape or your hair. And you get this really kind of cool twist at the back. I'll try and show you. The same kind of thing can be achieved with a large square scarf, where you just place it down loosely, let it hang through the back, and you use the tails just to tie it into position around your bun. But the actual head isn't that hugged at all. The only kind of place it's really holding onto the head is just through here, and then where we tied it off. But it's a really cool look, and it's very different, and it's very, very nice for summer because you don't have anything hugging your face that tightly. And if you're really creative, you can probably make sort of folds or little kind of patterns and fringes through the scarf to make it prettier. The other thing I really love about this look is that all the patterns are going in different directions, so you don't get this typical horizontal line or this typical vertical line. You kind of get this twist around the whole look with these diagonal lines. While my hair still looks like Everest, I'll just show you what I do with this scarf that I had on in the beginning. So this is just tied all the time like this. So it's not a perfect triangle, but it's almost like one. It's really quick and easy to work with because it is already tied down. And so all I really ever have to do is put it on and twist. And then of course adjust to make sure that everything's covered. I'm just tucking away that little V that gets left behind. You can also opt to pin it if you wanted to. And this is kind of what I was telling you about with the white look that I just did. It's really loose around the front. It's not hot at all if it's a really hot day or you're doing some exercise or maybe even going to the swimming pool. This is really convenient because there's nothing kind of really touching your skin that much. It's very, very loose through here. And you can push it back a little if you wanted to. You can fold it up if you wanted to, if you were okay with that. Like that. You can bring it down further if you wanted to. That's also fine. You can kind of wear it a bit like a hat with something extra. And I absolutely love these two looks for that reason, because it's just comfortable and convenient and really super quick. Lastly, I just want to show you what I had on at the beginning. So we're just going to put this down so that the tail of this kind of fake triangle is at the front. I'm going to make sure that this bit is on the nape. I'm going to twist and cover the bun. And you can then definitely, then arrange this one to sit in a cute kind of way through here, or lower the bun lift this bit so it actually ties around the front of your head, and then you lift this up. And you can either have it sort of just sitting there tucked away, or what I like to do is just give it a bit of a twist and find a place to stick it back into. And then you end up with this little kind of bit sticking out. This is the other kind of triangle, the little triangle that gets left inside the scarf. So for that one, just twist her around, make sure the label doesn't show. You can even really accentuate the little bow tie. With this scarf, you've got so many options. Once you've tied it into a triangle kind of thing, and it's much, much more versatile than what you would get out of a regular square scarf, because you've got so much more scarf to play with. So right now I've just got my little pointy bit down the front here. I feel like I'm about to rob a bank. Goodness. And then I've got this one twisted over and brought all the way back out to where my forehead is. And you can tighten it if you like, or do whatever you need. And then I reveal myself there. Oops. Okay, and then I lift up the first, or the outer triangle, the one that you saw hanging down, and just arrange it however looks pretty, basically. Twist it, turn it, do whatever you need, and then you end up tucking it under the thing that you just brought up. You can make this a lot tighter, you can layer it down, there's a lot of things you can do with it. And then with this bit, because it's got a tag especially, I'm just going to go underneath. I'm going to zhuzh this up. And this is the kind of look we get with the low bun. The other really cool thing is that you can just have it hang out the back here. Make sure you're happy with where the triangle is and that enough of your hair is covered and all that sort of thing. And then you can just tie it under like I would with any kind of square scarf. And then I'm just going to tie it around my bun. And I really like the bow look, so I'm going to position my bow nicely there. And second knot. And you've got that typical, I'm going to call this look the Anatevka. Very comfy, very quick and easy. You can bring it out the front. You can also choose to tuck it under and away like this. Very, very cute. Once you've got it tied in this position, it's very versatile. I don't have to untie it again to get it into all my other looks. Alright my lovelies, I hope you really enjoyed this rectangle into square scarf tutorial. I had a lot of fun creating the looks. I've got lots of notes here in front of me of how to recreate the different looks. It was definitely a fun creative experience to come up with so many different scarves that didn't just happen naturally by accident, that I actually sat down and had a really good think about of how would I do some of the square looks I do if I just didn't have the square scarf at my fingertips. And it's just really comfortable, really convenient. It's so beautiful. Like, to me, this just screams 50s Hollywood glam. Just really, really, this is the kind of thing that socialites would wear when they had their perms in their hair and all these sort of things, and they didn't, or their 20 different rollers in their hair, and they didn't want to have their hair ruined before the days of modern hair accessorizing equipment. So this is just a really, really beautiful glam look that's really retro, really fun and really feminine, and I just absolutely love the kind of volume and height that it gives that is so unique and so different to a regular wrap. It also shows off a really different side to whatever pattern you have going on your scarf. You'd never get this mishmash and random direction of a very geometrical scarf unless you twisted and turned it and gave it a good old kind of sideways look, and that's really, really lovely too. To see more of my crazy experiments and what I come up with on a more daily kind of basis, please do visit Instagram and shout out there, leave me a comment, tell me what you think of all the different looks, and maybe just say hi. If you haven't subscribed already, please do so now. Please go ahead and join this creative family. And, you know, we've got lots of different things coming up. I've got lots of ideas going on, and I'm excited to bring them all to you. So go ahead and press subscribe. It's free to join, and it's just lovely to see the numbers grow. It's really, really encouraging. So it's great if you can do that. I hope wherever you are around the world, you're having an amazing day and you really enjoyed having a creative play with your scarves after watching this tutorial. Look forward to seeing you on the next one on Sunday. Bye.